Take my heart, you know me. Take my soul, you found me. Take me there where I'll start to believe in true love. Your from the east to the west, Lord, your name be manifest in my world, in my world. I won't rest until you take over me, Lord, and renew was not yours, was not yours. Take my heart, you know me. Take my soul, you found me. Take me there where I'll start to believe in true love. Your
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Heart of the Matter. We got the name of our show now. I'm just so excited about that. Having the name of the show, the branding of the show, that's all because of your giving.
Amen.
So first of all, let's start out by saying thank you
Thank you.
for your giving, for your sowing. I mean, we spent real money getting this done. And the reason we had the real money to get it done was because you guys gave. You gave towards. So thank you for joining us. I shared last week that the big thing that everybody can help right now with is sharing it out. So right now, as you're all there, share it out. Tonight's topic is the emotion. We're talking about emotions, right? The emotions that are caused when the one you love doesn't love you back. Ooh, baby. When the one you love doesn't love you back. The heart of the matter, meeting difficult topics and harsh realities. Meeting difficult topics. This is a difficult one. Love, love, love. Man and woman love, boyfriend, girlfriend love, husband, wife love. It's difficult, right? So meeting difficult and harsh realities with curiosity, consideration, and insight. Amen?
Amen.
With curiosity, consideration, and insight. So tonight, we want to start off, and we're going to talk a little bit about the one question that we had about this. It dealt a little bit more with the love triangle. A young lady that was in love with one guy. I guess he kind of didn't want her. So as a result of him not wanting her, she kind of got with another guy. I don't know that I'd say she loved him. She just got with him. That might have been kind of to make the other guy jealous, or we do all kind of things. I don't really know.
Or maybe a way of moving on.
Yeah, or her way of moving on. She wanted to get past him, so maybe the guy she loved went and got a relationship. Jeremiah ain't turned the clock on yet, but maybe the one that she loved went and got into a relationship. So to get even with him, she went and got into a relationship. I don't know all the details of it. I'm just thinking how these things kind of go. These love triangles. So we want to talk about the emotions. We want to kind of help you with relationships, love relationships, give you a little bit of advice, talk about it a little bit, and try to help you. Now, I want to start out tonight by kind of putting a disclaimer out there. 9 out of 10 times, maybe 9 out of 10 is a little bit high. I'm going to say 9 out of 10 times. I'm going to stick with that. And I don't have no factual data to back that up. But I'm going to say, out of the times we've been counseling people,
Right.
9 out of 10 times when somebody's in a relationship and they are the one that's hurt, they are typically hurt because they did not thoroughly inspect what they expected.
True.
They did not investigate
Before the invest.
before they invested.
Amen.
And even those we've seen that have taken our counsel and have done some investigation, don't do enough investigation.
Amen.
So what I find is people, especially when you talk about love and relationships, they get into these relationships far too quick. They don't really give it thought. They don't really give the relationship an opportunity for you to become a person's friend.
They move too fast.
Yeah, desperation is a bad thing. A lot of times people are desperate. They're desperate to get married. They're desperate to find the one. They're lonely. They feel like they need a man or they need a woman to complete them, or the clock is ticking. I mean, all kind of stuff goes on.
All types of things.
And all I can tell you is one thing I learned from my pastor many, many years ago. When you get in a hurry, know that that's the time, that's the opportunity where you're going to make some mistakes.
Bad decisions.
So one thing about relationships, before you decide to become intimate with somebody, and that doesn't mean necessarily even being in the bed with them. Intimacy can happen over text. Intimacy can happen over a phone conversation. Intimacy can happen over dating.
Conversations.
Intimacy happens through conversation. But before you make a decision to get intimate with somebody, do some investigation. We got Facebook today.
Right.
Man, you can see somebody's history for 5, 6, 7, 8 years by just going on Facebook, looking and seeing how do they think? What's their view of the world? How do they view things? The guy tells you, oh yeah, I'm a Christian. Go on his Facebook.
I honestly starting to wonder if people really care.
If they want to know.
Yeah.
Do you really
Do
want
they
to?
really care? I guess they figure, oh, they'll change, or I can change them, but you can't change anyone but yourself.
They seem like a nice person. So because they seem nice, or they did this nice deed, and I'm lonely anyway, Pastor.
It's
so.
really the desperate voice in there speaking, really, and they become naive and just look over things that clearly you see red flags.
Yeah, that's true. Man, that's the worst thing in the world, when you stick your head in the sand.
So it come back and bite you.
Yeah, about red flags. And there's so many of them that we could, go through. And don't think just because somebody's a Christian, there's not red flags. There's more red flags for Christians, or people that say they're Christians. Because, Christians always have this go-to card. Well, God said so. Or the Holy Spirit said so.
Right.
And when somebody lays that on you early on, that means they don't really want to do any further investigation, because if God said it, then that's the end of it. Well, that works when it applies to you, but nobody else can kind of throw that on you.
I say run.
Yeah, I say run too.
And fast.
So let's talk about a couple of the things that happen when people automatically get in these wrong relationships. Before we go into our particular topic of the night with the love triangle kind of one, what leads men and women to get into wrong relationships, get in fast relationships? I mean, what do you think are some of the key things? I think that the number one thing that I see is low self-esteem.
Yeah.
Let's talk about self-esteem a little bit. Low self-esteem has to do with you not believing in yourself to a large degree. Actually, what we're going to do tonight? We're going to give you a self-esteem quiz. How about that? You're going to find out tonight, right now on the show. You're at home. You're all by yourself. You're going to get to find out tonight, do you have low self-esteem? And if you're honest with yourself, you might find out something about yourself.
Amen.
The way my wife and I did it today is we let each other give each other the quiz.
Yeah, we did. We answered for each
Yeah,
other.
that way was totally subjectional. So if you're already married, I recommend you do it that way. or get somebody that knows you.
Yeah, because we can be kind of blind when,
Yeah.
when it comes to ourselves.
Yeah. But low self-esteem, I think, is the number one factor. That's why one of the things you're going to hear us talk about tonight a lot, and those of y'all that know Pastor Franny and Pastor Nick, you know this, is we're going to talk about things you need to do to help yourself. Unfortunately, you can't help others. You can't change other people. People that want to pigeonhole you into making you feel like the only way it's ever going to be right for you is to change other people, they're people that really don't want answers.
Right.
Because you can't change other people.
Can't change anyone.
Yeah. You know, it's like this whole racial thing we got going on right now. People think we're going to change this by trying to do this. Man, you can't change hate.
Nope, can't.
You can only learn to love yourself and move forward with everything God's given you and see yourself as God sees you and become victorious.
Right.
It's the same in relationships. You can't change a grown person. I know a lot of us get in these relationships and we think we can, but you can't.
No. And a lot of times I think people get into relationships for, just all kind of reasons. I need someone to complete me. Like you were saying, my clock's ticking.
So maybe the wrong initial expectations. How about that one?
Right.
Yeah, we have all these expectations. Let's also say one thing when it comes to love and relationships. Don't ever forget that Pastor Nick and Pastor Franny told you this. Please, if you're sitting at home tonight, write this down. Wisdom key number one. Wisdom key number one. Write this down. Dating is phony. Write it down. Dating is show. How many of y'all ever watched Showtime at the Apollo? Remember Showtime at the Apollo? You know what Showtime at the Apollo was? It was an opportunity for amateurs to come and give their very best to get an opportunity to move up. So they came in and they put on the best show they could. That's what dating is. That's what dating is. It's people putting on a show.
That's right.
And a lot of times we build our expectations of what a future relationship is going to be based on how dating went. Understand this, ladies. If he's pulling your chair back when you're dating, know you're going to be pulling your own chair back real soon.
Amen.
Please understand that. Know if he's not buying and paying for your meal on the first date, know that you're going to be paying for every meal for the rest of your life. Know that wherever you start, wherever the dating pinnacle starts, and I'm not trying to be negative. Pastor's just trying to tell you how
Trying to be real and get to the heart of the matter.
It's going to slide down. As much as I try, I really, really try to love Pastor Franny. I try to be a good husband to her. I try with the best of my ability. But you know what? After 36 years, 38 years, sometimes it just gets old. It just does. That happens. You got ups, you got downs.
You have to
I mean, she's a beautiful woman, but 38 years of looking at her. 38 years? Amen. You can have the best piece of sweet potato pie in the world, but all you eating is the same piece of sweet potato pie for 38 years.
That's why it takes Jesus.
That's why it
really
takes Jesus.
Does.
You got to learn to put some whipped cream on that sweet potato
change it
pie.
up.
You got to learn to add a little more nutmeg in that sweet potato pie. You got to learn to eat it warm. You got to learn to eat it cold.
Milk.
You got to learn to eat it with milk.
Ice cream.
Relationships is work, is what we're saying.
Amen.
It's
That's
work.
true.
Now, I can tell y'all, for us, this is just us. Don't try to live your relationship like us.
It's been
But
38
our
years.
relationship gets better and better every year. And our relationship is truly better now than it ever has been.
I agree.
Ever. And it's only getting better and better.
Yeah, because
But why is that? Because, first of all, about 20 years ago, we made a decision to pursue God together. If you ever want to really have a great relationship,
that's the key.
pursue God together. Pursue God together. So, low self-esteem, Wrong initial expectations. And then the last one, I think, that really gets them in trouble is wrong motives. Wrong motives. Man, you go into that relationship because that woman's got a good job. You go into that relationship because that man's got money.
A good job.
You go into that relationship because she's fine. Let me tell you what, man, there's a thing called gravity.
Amen.
And unless you got a lot of money, gravity shall cometh. And it changes all things. So if you're going with the wrong motive, you want some trophy wife to walk around on your elbow and show off and all that. After she has a couple of babies, man, things change.
And they even change for the guys, and they don't even have babies.
That's right. Yeah, you got some guy, he's a hunk of burning love. He's got all those muscles, right? I got 1-pack now. First of all, I never had a 6-pack, but anyway, I got a 1-pack now.
Yeah, it's some.
Amen. So wrong motives. So think about your motives. Make sure you're where you need to be before you start worrying about getting into relationships. And man, be careful with what you expect. Sometimes we set our expectations so high that we really can never find somebody that we love.
That's so true. I think that's so sad. People, like I said, are looking for people with money, a certain look, and your life is going by. Instead of getting with someone, working your way together.
Right.
Because really, in the end of it, it's all about the connection between the two people.
Right.
It is not about the stuff.
Right.
The stuff is good, but it's really about, because I've seen people with stuff and they hate each other.
Right.
Hate each other. So it's really about a love connection, being there for one another, intimacy, look into me and see. You're looking into each other, you know, all the secrets about each other, and it's really a beautiful thing.
I think another thing, and we're going to get onto the self-esteem quiz here, but another thing that we didn't talk about is lust. Lust. I think a lot of relationships, because of pornography being so rampant today, and men and women just being at another place. I mean, when you go to you see women getting dressed to go to the club, always remember how you present yourself out is what you're going to attract.
Amen.
So if you dress trying to attract an animal, that's what you're going to attract. And if you're dressing and, there's nothing left of the imagination, that's what you're using. You're using your physical body, your sexuality to attract a man. No, that's what you get. Lust is not a good thing. You want to try to start out with the intellect of a person before you worry about all that other stuff.
And that really should be the last thing you want to do, is get intimate in that way with going to bed. And of course,
Right.
I mean, come on, ladies, you've seen it. Start off, they're dating you, they take you here, they take you there. The minute you go to bed, you get less and less. It gets until it's just over.
Yeah.
And then they wonder, what happened? Where did I go? I thought he loved me. He's always giving me all these accolades and taking me here and taking me there. And really, it was just to get in your pants.
Yeah. Let me give you another wisdom key, a timeless one. Wisdom key number 2 for tonight. Why buy the cow if the milk is free?
That's so true.
I'm sorry. You women just don't want to get it. Well, Pastor, that's okay. I'm trying to get him. He ain't trying to get me. You heard the new thing now with the women. Shoot your shot. If you see a guy, approach him.
Worst thing you could do.
That's the worst thing you could do. I've never heard such nonsense in all my life.
It makes you look desperate.
That's right.
And like you have no respect for yourself.
That's right.
You want somebody to pursue you.
Yeah. You want somebody to pursue you. Exactly.
But they'll do that, then they understand why the guy don't pursue.
Yeah. And listen, let me share something with y'all, because that might have lost some of y'all right there. If you're not looking for a godly relationship, I know we say this is a kind of worldly show a little bit, but we're not here to teach anybody how to get in anything but a godly relationship. Well, Pastor, that's all true, but I ain't looking for a husband, then this ain't for you. This ain't for you. This show is for people that are looking for lasting, relationships rooted and grounded in love.
Yeah, you're gonna find yourself in a mess if you have that attitude.
Right.
You're gonna be loving and leaving them for a long time, and it's
Yeah.
gonna get to a point where you're gonna be able to find one because like gravity takes its toll. The
Yeah.
world is about look
You know?
and how you look.
And the worst thing about having all these sexual partners is comparison. Comparison
Amen.
becomes a big thing in a relationship. How is, you always talk about Junebug. What, was Junebug better in the bed than me? See, and then all that starts. It's just a terrible place to be. It's comparisons.
Yeah, I think it's just why a lot of people have problems in relationships because they're always comparing to one that they loved,
Right.
but they don't have that anymore.
Right.
So now, what do you do with that?
Right. That's another whole problem.
All this running around, it's just
If you
makes a
wasn't
big
hopping
problem.
around with everybody, you wouldn't have that problem. That's why it's important not to do that. It's important to guard your heart. Well, Pastor, but I'm 30 years old and da-da-dee-dee-dee. Trust God. You're going to have to trust God. Pastor Frank's going to read this. This is Ephesians 2, verse 3 in the Amplified, and I think it kind of sums up everything that we were saying. Ephesians 3 and verse 2.
Among these, we as well as you once lived and conducted ourselves in the passions of our flesh, our behavior governed by our corrupt and sensual nature, obeying the impulses of the flesh and thoughts of the mind, our cravings dictated by our senses and our dark imaginings. We were then by nature children of God's wrath and heirs of his indignation, like the rest of mankind.
So God's talking here about being directed by your flesh, being directed by your sensual, sexual nature. And he's telling you, man, it's the wrong way to go. It creates dark imaginations. So we need to think about all that stuff when we're thinking about relationships and we're getting in wrong relationships, especially love relationships. Because these relationships take an emotional toll on you. They will. The young lady who wrote us in, she was in a relationship where she was dating one guy. She really, really loved him.
Right.
And he got rid of her, right?
Yeah, she will. Yeah.
They broke up because of him.
And then she started another relationship, and I think she went back to him again.
Right.
So it's just a lot of this back and forth. And, you really got to be careful with that because, like it was saying here in the scripture, we have these behaviors, and it's a passion for our flesh and sensual cravings.
The Bible calls it soul ties,
Yes.
right?
Yes. So we have to be careful with that because what happens is.
Well, one of her questions was, well, how do I, if I'm going to love and you say love and move on, how do I don't want to be his friend.
Right.
I mean, loving don't mean, you just have to move on to the point where you're not allowing him to affect you.
Right.
You don't have to be his friend. You just need to not give him authority and power over your life to affect you that way. You're still worried about him because you're not fulfilling yourself. That person has a self-esteem issue because they feel like there's something that person has that's going to complete them or make them better, or they can't get without him. That's a real problem.
Yeah.
That's a real problem.
And then she talked about the mixed emotions, 1 minute you feel like he wants me. 1 minute I don't think he does.
Well, you let him play games with you.
Exactly.
Yeah, there wouldn't be none of that. If it's over, it's over. You need to move on. I'm not telling people that to not harbor animosity or to not love somebody means you got to allow somebody to be in your life. If it's an ex, it's an ex.
Right.
Now, if you got children with somebody, that's different. You're always going to have some degree of relationship.
Right.
But even in that, your ex outside of that child, they don't need to be telling you how you live your life, how you govern your life, what you do. They don't even have the authority to tell you what you do with that child. That's when that child's with you, that's your child.
Actually, that is so good. I remember when we first got married, and I always used to tell Pastor Nick, listen, I'll be there for whatever, but if you cheat on me, we're done.
Right.
We're done. If you ever walk in my house and you said, I'm leaving, just let you know, ain't no coming back.
Right.
Ain't none of this separation stuff people doing today.
Right.
And that was setting that clear standard.
Right.
it's that hard line you must draw. Because if you don't draw the hard line, you'll never really know how they really feel about you.
Exactly.
If they know you're gonna take them back, and then you get mad, go away, then I'm gonna take you back.
Right.
It just becomes a big, just
Yeah,
a mess.
even with dating is just practicing divorce. You don't need to date nobody. Be somebody's friend. Go out in groups. Go out with other people.
And then you get to observe them from
Yeah,
afar.
observe them from afar.
How they
Keep
treat
your eye on
others.
them.
Yes. But yeah, but it was talking about the mixed emotions on and off, and it was saying that a lot of times we trick our own selves to think we are reading things, we'll see things that'll help our narrative when that's not really what's happening.
Yeah.
And that's why it's best to just cut it and make a hard line boundary.
And you got to have real mentors in your relationship. You got to have people that can sit down with y'all and call it. Because like I said, people have different motives, man.
Yeah.
I know people that marry people. I know men that have married women because they have a great job and they make a lot of money. That was the end of it. That's why they got married.
Right.
I know women that have married men because they got a business and man, they want to go work in that business and they want, that's what I want. I mean, people have different motives.
And then I've seen it where they won't give a guy or woman the time of day because of the type of job they have.
Right.
What happened to the love and the person being a loving person, a person of character, a perfect person of integrity? We wonder why we have so many divorces.
Right, exactly. We want to do the self-esteem quiz. So I want you to get a pen and a paper, and we're going to ask you some questions. They answer what? With yes or no?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm going to read the first one, then Pastor Franny will read one. So here's question number one. Just write yes or no. Is your self-esteem, how you feel about yourself, that's self-esteem is, right? How you feel about yourself based on what others think of you? Yes or no? Is your self-esteem based on what others think of you? Yes or no? Just write it down. It's just you. Be honest with yourself. This is really going to help you if you're honest with yourself. Number two.
Do you do things to make others happy, even if it makes you feel bad?
Read it again.
Do you do things to make others happy, even if it makes you feel bad?
Yes or no? This is just you and God right now. Nobody's going to look at your answers. We're not going to ask you to send it in. You really need to be honest with yourself.
Amen.
Number three, do you have a hard time being happy for others when they succeed? Be honest. Be honest. Do you have a hard time rejoicing with them that rejoice? Be honest with yourself here. Yes or no? Be honest. Number four.
Do you call yourself names like stupid or dummy when you make mistakes, or sometimes even when you don't?
One more.
Do you call yourselves names like stupid or dummy when you make mistakes, sometimes even when you don't?
Think about that. Again, this is just you and God, man. Answer the question truthfully. Do you beat yourself up? Do you talk down to yourself? Do you agree with others when they say things about you like that? Does somebody say, man, you're pretty dumb, and you kind of walk away and go, yeah, maybe I am? Think about that. The last one. Listen carefully. Do you have a hard time taking risks? Do you have a hard time taking risks? Is it hard for you to go take all your money out of the bank and go invest it over here? Is it hard to take risks on your part? So now I want you to add those up. How many yeses you have, how many no's you have. Add up how many yeses you have and how many no's you have. If you answered yes to any of these questions, if you answered yes to any of these questions, your self-concept or self-esteem may be distorted. If you answered yes to any of them, If you answered yes to 3 or more, then you are more than likely not living authentically. If you answered yes to 3 or more, the chances are very good that you're not living authentically. What that means is you're not being truthful with yourself.
Right.
You are living a false you have a self-esteem problem. And you need to really, really work on that. You need to deal with that. Now, we're not going to get into today's conversation about you having a self-esteem problem and what to do about that, but I do want to say to you, if you do have a self-esteem problem, we would like to make some resources available to you to help you with that, okay?
Amen.
So if that's you, I want you to just hold on to that, and we are going to send you a video, my wife and I talking about self-esteem. It'll probably be in a couple of weeks towards the end of this series. We want to get some stuff to you. We want to get some help to you. We want to get some scriptures to you that's going to help you with your self-esteem, okay? Tonight, what we want to do for the second part of the show tonight is we want to talk about 7 ways that you can identify whether you are an option or what?
Priority.
Or a priority
In a relationship.
in your relationship. 7 ways to identify whether you're an option or a priority. We need to understand that in any relationship that we are in, no one wants to believe that they might not be a priority. Everybody, right, honey?
Amen.
Wants to be number 1. Everybody wants to be the priority. Even when you reach such a realization that maybe you're not, it's not normal. I mean, it is normal that you may want to ignore those signs and even try to rationalize it, especially if you have a self-esteem issue. You find somebody that's not treating you the way that you should be treated, and you have a self-esteem issue, you will find yourself deprioritizing yourself. You will find yourself not becoming important.
And we can't make sure we can't do that. So a lot of times, like he was talking about these vain imaginations and things, these cravings, they're not real. These people, because when you're in your imaginations, the person is always perfect. They don't have any flaws.
Right.
So that's why it's so important that we don't do that.
Right.
And we don't rationalize.
Well,
and we look at it for what it is.
Right, because what ends up happening is we end up sticking around
Too long.
in these relationships, believing that they're going to change. They're going to change the way they treat you. And you're believing that they're going to eventually make you the number 1 priority in their life. And the truth is they probably aren't.
And we go around and we make them, we change and alter who they really are in our minds. They become our little imaginary friend.
Right.
And like I said, those people have no flaws. So they're very dangerous people if you really see them for who they are.
Right. You know, if your partner only makes you feel special on special occasions, things like Valentine's Day or your birthday, you know, they leave the rest of the year out. You need to be mindful of these signs that we're getting ready to talk about because they're serious. And, you know, we don't, you know, it's a 1-hour show, so we don't have all the answers. We could talk about this for an entire year.
Amen.
One of the things I'm going to tell you, especially if you have self-esteem challenges and you're already in a relationship, like you're in a marriage and this is going on, you're going to need to, you know, find things. I think they're going to need to find things to help build themselves up. Find their own thing. Work on their career.
Yes.
Because all of it's always about first making you feel good about you. Because if you can't bring a good you to the table,
Amen. I love you.
you know, you're going to always seem needy to your partner. Your partner's always going to think, you know, how did you tell me about the other day you were talking about it? When they're always, you know, with you and
Oh yeah, I
and-
want to
and-
be with you all the time, under you all the time.
Right.
Everything whatever they want Let's see a movie, they got to see it with you. They
Right.
want to go eat, they got to go, oh, come go with me, baby.
Or they don't have their own friends.
Yes, they don't have their own friends. They don't have anything other than that relationship that makes them happy.
Right.
And that's meaningful, and it's very, very important.
So they do need to have some of their own things.
Oh, my goodness.
But
yeah.
those things don't
Hobbies,
need to
something.
get out of control,
Right.
right? They need to be in the parameters of the relationship.
But what's so good about it, it shows that you respect yourself. When you're needy,
Right,
that's like, nobody's going to respect you.
right.
They just won't. They won't respect you. So this is why you need to have your own friends, your own things that you want to do, your own hobbies. Don't miss the water till the well go dry.
Yeah, it's funny to me when we're counseling people and I hear like one of the people in the relationship will always be talking about all the things the other person's doing, and I'm always saying to myself,
What are you
why don't
doing?
you go get you something to do?
Exactly.
I mean, if she's shopping all the time, go figure something out to go to the gym.
Right.
Go get something to do. Why is your life so boring? It doesn't need to be.
Yeah, I hear it a lot in marriage.
Right, yeah, you hear a lot. So let's go over these 7 things. So number 1, and again, these are 7 ways to identify whether you are an option in a relationship or whether you're a priority. So number 1, all plans are always on their terms.
Right.
All plans are always on their terms. Talk about that one a little bit.
Yeah, that means, your partner, he exhausts all the options before confirming any plans with you.
He what?
He exhausts all other options plans with you.
So John don't want to go play football today, and Pete don't want to go play basketball today, and
Right.
Frank don't want to go see a movie today.
Now
So
he
I
calls.
guess, honey, I'm available. Do you want to go do something?
Right.
So that's not good.
No,
Wow.
that's not priority.
Wow.
That's an option.
Wow. All plans, think about that. All the plans are always on their turn. Or if we're going out to eat dinner, right? Well, I want a hamburger tonight. Well, I want shrimp tonight. Well, I guess since you want a hamburger, we'll go have a hamburger.
Right.
Man, it's funny because these are real issues.
Oh, my
And
God.
people don't even see it.
And they're so phony. And the women say, oh, yeah, okay, that's fine. They think making them happy is going to keep them.
And what's even worse is when you say that's fine and it really ain't fine.
Right. And then you get married. Now you're fighting because that ain't fine.
Right. It's fine when you're dating.
Right. Which
Now
is
when you get
phony.
married, now it's a problem.
Yeah, you never do what I want to do.
Right. He never did what you wanted to do when you dated.
That's what's so bad about the
He
phone.
never did what you wanted to do when you were engaged.
Exactly.
It was always his way then. Right?
Right.
Sunday's football day. If Sunday's, baby, listen, honey. Let me help you out, ladies. If Sunday's football days when you're dating, when you get married, Thursday night's gonna be football. Saturday's gonna be college football. Sunday's gonna be football. Sunday night's gonna be football. Monday's gonna be football. And sometimes they have a Thursday night game.
You just saw the tip of the
You
iceberg.
just saw the tip of the iceberg. If he's not willing to make you a priority
And dating?
in dating,
Oh, my goodness.
forget about it. Forget about it. And if he hasn't made you a priority or deprioritized you in your marriage, then you need to find some things to do. Because you got to find happiness. You got to find contentment within yourself so that while you're praying and you're asking God to change his heart, you're not nagging. The worst thing you can become, men or women, is a nag. Men don't like nags. Women don't like nags. Women view needy men as punks. Men view nagging women as, I can't use the word,
Just say it.
but there's a word for women to nag all the time.
Want to be your mama?
Yeah, they want to be your mama. Men don't need another mama. They got
No,
one.
that's a turnoff.
It's a sexual turnoff. It's an intimacy turnoff. I mean, when my wife talks down to me, it's a turnoff. And I talk down to her sometimes. I got to really work on that because it's just sometimes how I talk. I got to work I'm constantly trying to improve myself.
Marriage is always working.
Right.
That's something.
So number 2, you feel like you are not the most, you feel like you are not as important to them. Again, you start out, right? And you're very important in the dating game. They call you up before they do this, before they do that. Then when you get married or when you get into your relationship, now Thanksgiving's all about what my mama wants to do.
That's right.
Now Christmas is about how I do Christmas, not how you do Christmas. Now, I don't like scary movies. I like comedies.
You're dating.
Well, she likes comedies when you're dating, so you go to the comedy. But now you get married and you go to the movie, and no, I like horror movies. So that's what we need to go see. So again, what you are, who you are in a relationship, all of a sudden isn't that important.
Also, they don't take you to important events. Weddings.
Ooh, company function.
Yeah, with the friends.
They don't take you to important events.
Stay indoors.
Pastor Frey said that's a big red flag.
Red flag.
Or as Jeremiah would say, hey, amen. They don't want to take you nowhere.
No.
They want to keep you in the house. I guess that leads us to number 3. Number 3 is you make all the effort. You make all the moves. You're always the one planning. You're always the one coming up with the ideas. You're the one, when we don't have a lot of money, you come up with creative gifts to celebrate Valentine's Day for me. You're always the one mentioning, hey, why don't we think about doing this? Or, hey, why don't we think about doing that? And he's in the bed. Oh, I'm tired. I need my Geritol. I don't have the energy no more to do all that. You're the one always making the effort. Okay, look, I know you're tired. You got your shower, you're tired. I tell you what, I'll bring a checkers board to the bed, and we'll lay in the bed and we'll play checkers. My wife and I, man, we have certain things that we do together in the bed. I'm not talking about sex. We have other things we do in the bed besides sex.
We bed out.
Yeah,
Carpet
we
picnics.
got certain movies we love. Right now we love Naked and Afraid. It's our favorite
that's
thing
hilarious.
to do. We're going to go on Naked and Afraid.
No, we're not.
Yeah, we are.
No, we're not.
Yeah, we are.
No.
Well, we're going to
we
do
would
our
make
own.
it 24.
We're going to do our own Naked and Afraid.
We would make it 24
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah, we're going to go 21 days in the wilderness.
No way.
But anyway, we sit down, and if you ever watch Naked and Afraid, they're on back to back to back to back, right? So we'll get popcorn and we'll get candy.
M&Ms.
Hey man, we lay in the bed together. We talk about what we would do, what they would do.
How stupid they are.
We spend hours
They're crazy.
just enjoying ourselves.
Yeah, it's fun. Just
That's
be
something we
together.
like to do. We study the Word together. We sit down, we plan. We plan these things together. She'll do some research. We'll come back. We'll talk about it. I'll do some research. I'll come back. We talk. We have things that we're passionate about together.
And then we
we
wrestle.
have things that
We
we
wrestle.
do separate.
And then I hit him, and then he hits me, and then we roll.
What did she say?
We wrestle.
Well, we do wrestle. I always win, but
No.
that's all right. And we love to travel. It's another thing we love
Yes.
to do. And let me tell you something, man. Listen. You could travel on your budget.
Amen.
You don't have to travel on Pastor Nick's budget.
So many
A lot
things.
of people see me, Trey, you're not in the season of life I'm in. I'm in the Ritz-Carlton, Marriott, Renaissance season. But guess what? I was in the Holiday Inn season one time.
Man, that's the
I was in the season where there wasn't even a hotel. We just drove to the beach and spent the day.
You gotta be
do you know what we
creative.
used to do when we dated? We would go to Tampa International Airport
Yeah.
with our girls. We would get an ice cream cone, park in the garage, and we go to the top floor and we watch the planes come in. And we sit right there and talk about one day we're going to travel all over the world.
Yeah.
In the day,
And that was the best part.
I travel all over the world.
Talking about the journey and now on the
Paint on the
journey.
canvas of your imagination.
Yeah.
But understand that if you're the one doing everything, That's not a good sign.
Or it takes them forever to reply to your text.
Right.
Never organize any plans. It's always you moving first.
Right. You're not a priority in their life.
Yeah.
Number 4, whether you're, this is talking about whether you're a priority or you're a
Option.
option. Your partner treats you horribly. Your partner treats you hard. If your partner, when I do things to hurt my wife, to treat her horribly, and I do and I have, I think about it. I tell her I'm sorry. I pray to God and ask God to give me revelations on ways I could treat her differently, because my desire is to build her up, not tear her down. And if I'm doing something to her that's treating her horribly, that's only going to tear her down. So if your partner's just doing things to you, I'm not saying he won't ever do something to you. That
ain't
we
real.
do things.
Yeah, that's not reality.
Sometimes you get in an argument and you say things you don't mean, and you even do things sometimes
On
you
purpose.
shouldn't do.
Right.
Sometimes it gets a little personal. My wife would hit me with the brush or something. She got no business putting her dirty hands on me. Man, don't put your hands on me. But she'll pop me, right? She shouldn't do that. That's treating me horribly. Because I don't like that.
That's why I do it.
Call my son and have her put her in a rear naked choke or something. But anyway, if he's treating you that way and there's no remorse, there's no coming back, repentance, they just seems like they're okay with that. That's not a good sign.
That's a very, very, very,
That's
very
a
bad
sign
sign.
that you're not a priority.
Very bad. Embarrassing you in public. And,
Number 5, if you have emotions, if you find yourself having a lot of emotions of feeling generally unhappy and misused, that's not a good thing.
No.
You should feel good about the relationship.
Amen.
If he or she makes you feel generally unhappy, insecure, misused, things like that,
Depressed.
around them, all of your insecurities are heightened, or you feel depressed, or you feel like they bring your inadequacies to the forefront,
They expose you.
or my wife, man, I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah. That's just wrong.
You should never, as men of God, we're called to cover our wives, not expose them. Women are called to cover us, not expose us.
Amen.
Even if your husband's wrong, you wait till you get in the car to talk about that.
I don't
Don't
think it's anything
expose them.
worse.
What's that?
I don't think it's anything worse. You're in front of company and your better half just go there.
Like when you treat your husband like you're his mom, you're always talking down to him, telling him what to do in front of everybody, belittling him.
Yeah,
It's just not good.
exposing.
Even with your wife.
Amen.
You're
Either way,
constantly
it's
bossing
bad.
your wife around.
Either way, it's ugly.
Directing her around like a child. She's not your child. She's your wife. Well, Pastor, the Bible says that the woman needs to submit to the man. Understand, your wife is your helpmeet.
Amen.
She's your helpmeet. So we can't do those things. Relationships are meant to be mutually beneficial, mutually respectful,
Happy.
and bring mutual happiness. That's the purpose of a relationship. Not that you dread going out with your husband, you
Right.
dread being in public with your better half.
A word about being embarrassed.
Right. Number 6, are they constantly lying to you? Man, you're always finding them in lies.
You're catching
They're
stuff.
sneaking around. They're texting people. They're doing this. They're doing that. This happens a lot in marriage. You get married,
The cheaters.
and now all of a sudden you get married. Now, well, but I thought you said this, and you find out it's that. And
Yeah.
I thought you said when we were dating it's this, and you find out it was that. And just this, you start to uncover this
Lies.
trail of lies and this trail of deceit.
Kills the trust.
There's nothing that kills trust more than lying. It kills trust. It kills trust. And we have to be very careful when we've been untruthful, we need to let our other half, that person, know before they find out that we've been untruthful.
You said, I was looking up, doing some research. Do you know most people that cheat, they do not tell it? 76%. You have to catch them in it.
Most people that cheat, 76% of people that cheat,
Will not tell it. They always
never
say
tell it.
they didn't cheat until they're caught in it.
wow, that's a pretty interesting stat, 76%. Yeah. So the last one, they're mostly interested in the physical side of you. This becomes a real issue today because women just really, well, not only women, I shouldn't say women, but
Both.
it's all with pornography and with Facebook, with these filters. I mean, physical appearance is becoming the dominating thing. I mean, you got women that are as sexually active and have as great of a sexual appetite today as men used to. I mean, it's getting just out of control. And all I want to tell you is, you know, just in case you've never experienced it and you don't know, eventually it becomes physical. I mean, I know there's the fireworks and all that when it all first starts, and I know there are lots of things, you know, but let me tell you something, man. You know, Eddie Murphy said it best in the movie Coming to America. I want a woman that's going to stimulate my intellect as much as my loins. So, I mean, if my wife didn't stimulate me intellectually, I mean, she definitely stimulates my loins, don't get me wrong. But if she didn't stimulate me intellectually, if she didn't challenge me, if she didn't always push me, if she didn't always, my wife challenges everything. Everything. My wife, man, she's got this way. I will say we're going to go out and make $100. We'll be driving along. You know, I really think we can make 300. You know, I'll just kind of look at her like, yeah, because you ain't the one having to do all the work right now. And then, you know, we'll drive along a little bit more. You know, thought about it a little bit more. I think we can make 500. You know, it was like when Pastor Post said, I'll never forget, sitting on the front row, Jeremiah, and Pastor Post says, I believe it's the will of God for every born-again believer to reach at least millionaire status. Now, you got to understand, when he said that, we were so broke that when I rubbed my quarters together, the eagles cried. We had debt. We wasn't making no money.
Miles of debt.
We was broke. This pastor now going to put more pressure on me. I believe it's the will of God for every born-again believer to reach at least millionaire status. I'm sitting there, man, he punched me right in the face. I'm like, oh, Lord, millionaire status. Y'all got to understand, I know how much money a day, an hour, a week, a month it takes to make $1 million. Because I've all dreamed about it. My wife looks right over at me. She said, he ain't talking to us. I said, what do you mean? We're going to make $1 million. You're going to make $1 million in 1 year. I was like, oh, Lord.
I'll never forget that face.
How many of y'all know
looked at me like
that prophecy that she spoke over my life, it came to pass in our lives.
It did.
Because she had the guts to say it.
I believe it.
She had the guts, she believed it. So you got to understand, man, you guys got to intellectually, it can't just be about sex. Matter of fact, it needs to be least about sex.
Amen. She ended up being a booty call.
Yeah. Yeah,
Nice.
I mean, it just becomes just about sex.
Oh, they want to meet you.
And let me tell you something, look, baby, I don't care how fine you think you are.
Yeah.
There's somebody out there finer. And it's not that they're even finer, they're just different. Things get old, especially with people that are lustful and people that are immature. Immature people want toys.
Need a thrill.
Now, if you just want to be their toy, then that's okay. That's what you will end up speaking.
Amen.
So the one thing that you got to do, if you are the person that's experiencing these types of behaviors where you're not the priority, you have to decide what is important to you. Especially if you're in marriage, and you're in a relationship you know you're not going to break. You're not happy, but he's not cheating on you. You know, you're just not happy. You're going to have to come up with some boundaries, and you're going to have to set clear and firm boundaries. You need to get y'all an accountability partner. Hopefully you have a pastor, and you're going to have to sit down and talk through these things. And you're going to have to make them where they're measurable to start what I call working towards happiness. Now, if you're a woman that's not in a marriage, but you just can't find a guy, because these are always the things that happen, I think you really need to, Pastor Francis, you need to redefine your expectations.
Yes.
A lot of times we just have, we have these high expectations of these men or these women that we want. You got a guy that's, 350 pounds and he's overweight, but he wants a wife that's 5'3", 110 pounds, 36, 22, 30, all that kind of stuff.
He wants a 10.
Yeah, he wants a 10 and he's a 2. Or you got a woman that doesn't have any self-esteem, but she wants some millionaire. What was the saying I said that time? If you want a king, you better be ready. You need to be building yourself to be a queen.
Right. That's right.
If you want a queen, you better be building yourself to be a king.
That's it.
This thing's about building yourself and getting yourself where you need to be. Amen? And I'm just going to tell you this, in this subject tonight that we're talking about, it can really cause you and get you into an emotional roller coaster. And it could cause your emotions to be all over the map. The one thing I want you to gather from tonight is what we read. Read that again, Pastor Brandon. Ephesians. Actually, I'll read it. It says, among these, we as well as you once lived and conducted ourselves in the passions of our flesh, our behavior, governed by our corrupt and sensual nature, our flesh, obeying the impulses of the flesh and the thoughts of the mind, of the cravings dictated by our senses and our dark imaginations. We were then, by nature, children of God's wrath and heirs of his indignation, like the rest of mankind. We got to grow up. We got to start seeing relationships, like I said, intellectually. We got to start building up our self-esteem of who we are. And make sure, number one, I got to tell you, you need to find a man, if you're not a Christian or whatever, you need to find somebody that has character. I would tell you godly character. And I would say a man with character or a woman with character, a man with standards or a woman with standards needs to be the number one priority. I'm not telling you looks don't matter.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you need to be attracted to them. But I'm telling you, character, standards.
So much more important.
If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And then I watch relationships where a woman will come to the relationship with standards, and then the man will drop his standards to meet her standards, or vice versa. No, you both need to adhere to your standards. Amen?
Amen.
So anyway, listen, I hope you enjoyed this tonight. We enjoyed being with you. We're just excited to continue. We got one more show on emotions we're going to do next week. I believe we have one more that we're going to do. And what we would like to ask for you to do tonight, again, we're now getting ready. We got our logo done. We're going to start getting some of our backing. We got our branding done. We're about 2 weeks away from really ready to launch, if you will, the marketing of the show. So we'd like to ask for you to give tonight. If you've never given to the show, if you feel the show's helped you, if you feel it's been impactful for you. We're not asking you to give to put money in my pocket or Pastor Franny's pocket.
Amen.
Not one dime, just to help you all out, from this show goes into our pocket. Every dollar we take in, we spend it on either promoting the show, building the show, developing the show. It's all about getting the messages that God has given us out there in a practical manner, dealing with tough, difficult topics, getting to the heart of the matter. It takes money to do that. It's going to take money to promote this show. We're going to start 25% of everything we take in is going to go to saving for our television show. We're going to get this thing on TV. The rest, the other 75% of it is going to go to promoting the show. So we'd like to ask you to give $5, $10, $100, whatever it is. Pray about it. Ask God. The Bible says in 2 Corinthians that God will allow you to give into every good work. Don't give your tithe to this show. If you're a member of a church, don't say, oh, I'm going to start tithing to this show. Even though, no, your tithe belongs to your church. But if you want to sow an offering, if you believe that this program and what we're bringing here is impactful content and it can help other people and you'd like to see more people get involved with it, you want to see that ticker of people watching it go up, two things you can do. Number one, you can give. And number two, you can invite your friends. Invite people. Amen? So we love you. Thank you for joining. We're excited about next Friday night. We're going to continue to talk about emotions. Continue to try to give you information that's going to help you.
Amen.
And again, we're going to have a video coming out for those that are having relationship troubles, having self-esteem issues. We got a special little video we want to put together for you. Get you some material that we think can help you or give you the opportunity to access some material that can help you. Because part of the show, too, is we want to get some stuff to you that can help you. But we really love you. We appreciate it. And until next week, it's Pastor Nick and Pastor Franny saying, enjoy
life.